Welcome back to Hot Kopics episode 147. As you can see, the energy is a little bit down, right? But we're going to do our best to make you feel as if yesterday wasn't a complete and utter disaster. Welcome back to the pod. Myself, AGT, and Doyle. How you doing, mate? You love thumbs up at the start, don't you? It's your thing, isn't it?
Lacklustre one today. Yeah, one after the other. Because that was crap. Yeah, I'm okay, mate.
Doesn't sound good, does it? Smash that like button.
Flashing down outside as well, you know, it's hard and one outside, horrible. Mate, walking here, got soaked on the way in.
Mate, the slush and the snow in Liverpool at the weekend was a joke. I didn't get back till, decided to come back to London after the game with a mate, and he's got a Tesla. So we had to stop 3 times to charge it, mate. I didn't get back till 1.
Lad.
But this is the kind of commitment that we have for you, right? Less than 8 hours after getting back in to the capital. We're back here on the sofa ready for Hot Kopics. So smash that like button, get your comments in. And I'm not going to lie, Doyle, again, it's a massive week. And we're going to speak about the United game, what went right, all the things that went wrong, and then look ahead to Spurs. And at the weekend, it's Accrington Stanley.
Is it?
Yeah. And then next week, it's Forest away on Tuesday night, which I'm really not looking forward to. And then Brentford away, who are the best home team in the league, on the Saturday for my birthday. Oh. So things could be better, Doyle. But get them likes in. I'm pretty sure you would have watched the fan cams from last night. Pretty downbeat, as you saw. But Doyle, what was your... And we'll get into the ins and outs of the game last night. What was your immediate reaction after watching that last night, mate?
Not good enough, lad. Not good enough, man. I think the last month... If we're totally honest, lads, you got to look at it, like the last 5 performances, they've not been good, you know.
Apart from the West Ham one.
Yeah, but we expect to beat them, and we did. Yeah. And even in that game, we had a little blip where Robbo nearly let them in to score the first goal, lad. So,
and they hit the post.
Yeah, I'm honestly a bit worried. The performances have got a downward trajectory at the moment, and I just wanted to see a dominant performance against a really poor Man United side that everybody's been taking 3 points at. They're 14th in the table, mate. And we've just let them get a point at Anfield again for the 2nd year in a row, lad. It's so painful. Especially, right, so we're going to talk about the ins and outs of the game. But we come back again and let it go again. It just seemed too easy. And it was incredibly frustrating watch. It was a very ugly watch, that. It was not like an Arne Slot team. Maybe the weather had something to do with it. I don't know. The ball seemed like it was sticking a lot more on the floor. But that is no excuse to let a team like that get a point at Anfield. It really isn't. They're worse than bloody... They were easier to play against than Southampton. They should be, but they're not, because we made it a difficult game for ourselves. Like, that was awful. Watching Trent yesterday was the most... Oh my God, I love him. And we love the football that he plays. But yesterday, that was a stinker, that, mate. That was one of the worst performances I've seen him have in a long time. I think it was 27 times he gave the ball away. I just read it then. 27 times, lad. That's ridiculous. And then it led to the goal in the first one. It was on his side on the second one. It was crap.
It stinks. It really does stink. And obviously the build-up to the game, there was United fans hoping the game would get called off. I'm not going to lie, when I woke up on Sunday morning yesterday in Liverpool and looked out the window, I thought, geez, this might get called off. And obviously they had 2 meetings to decide the safety was at an adequate level for them for the game to go ahead. And we started really poorly, mate. And I was hoping... I think, listen, obviously in Flex's preview, I've said I want 7s and 5s. I stuck with 3-0. That was the scoreline I went for. I thought it was probably the most realistic. But I was concerned to get that score. I think we would have had to have scored early on in the game.
And we could have.
And I'm not sure about you, but 5-10 minutes in, I know Gakpo had that chance that goes past the post. Really good chance. But as the time, and Maka couldn't have really done any better, though. It was a good save from close range.
That's the details of the game. Then takes the chances go in. The game's over already.
Exactly. So this is my point, and my question to you is, at what minute kind of went by early on in the game where you thought, we haven't scored early here, this is going to be a really difficult game
When I got to the 30-something minute,
right,
I was starting to worry, because I was like, we're creating bags of chances here. And usually it means, because we're creating chances, we're going to get a goal eventually. But it can also work in the opposite, where it was like, if you don't take these chances, you may not get a few others. Yeah. So it was the latter. And eventually they started gaining control of the game, mate. They had a lot more possession than I thought they were going to have. They were passing the ball around. Everything was super simple. You could tell what their game plan was. They didn't come to play box football. They came to do the very simple things, pass the ball around, move it around the back, frustrate us a little bit. And their game execution was perfect in that first and second half. It was just perfect. It was horrible. It really was. They nullified us. It reminded me of the Forest game. That's what it reminded me of, where Forest weren't necessarily coming at us with all these shots and stuff. They were just taking the chances when they got them and playing the simple football and frustrating the life out of us, and that's what happened. There was a few good performances yesterday, but it was just that first half, mate. Scary, weren't it? Because you're like, where's the goals going to come from here? Like, why are we not... We weren't clinical. That's what the problem was yesterday. We were not our clinical selves. I honestly think that somebody like Jota needs to start. When you see him come on and he has loads of chances at the end of the game, he's the type of person in moments like that, when you need someone to just finish it and the other lads are not quite getting it, he does it. But at the same time, I understand he's a fragile little petal, isn't he? So we need to look after him, lad.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I think you have to give United some credit for obviously the chances they created. They were clinical. They actually played football. They were playing some nice stuff at times as well in the midfield, especially. Yes, they gave it away a few times. Yes, we got on top of them as a crowd. We were forcing them into a few mistakes. And all these little things that add up, we think, right, the goal's coming. If we're just patient. I really wanted one before half-time. But they executed their game plan pretty perfectly. I'd say they played like a medium block, very similar to Forest in that way. And on paper, a team that's first should be just demolishing a team that's 14th, 15th in the table, talking about relegation.
Especially your biggest rivals.
But that's why it didn't happen, because they are our biggest rivals. And we allowed them to build into the game. We weren't clinical. And let's start off with the positives before we move on to the negatives, which there are a lot of, as you guys know.
Macher and Ryan, they're the positives right there.
And and you know what? In my fan cam, which literally is an instant match reaction, right? I run out of the stadium, Jack's there with the camera, he throws the mic at me and goes like that. And I think when it's that instant, sometimes you don't really maybe have oversight of the stats, and you forget certain chances that happen. You're emotional as well.
You're not processing anything. No. You're just saying emotional blabber, which is what the internet likes.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why we follow football, right? Because we're emotionally and passionately involved in the game.
And in my instant match reaction, which again is super instant, and maybe in another ideal world, we have a half an hour downtime where I look back at the highlights and the only thing I maybe regret, not that much, but I did say there wasn't one standout performance yesterday. But looking back, I think Macher probably did absolutely everything he could do.
He was phenomenal, mate. Macher was
He was
brilliant.
winning the ball back. And again, I don't know if, as an out-and-out six with his height and physicality, you can really rely on him to stop everything. But he did his absolute best.
There's a reason why that midfield yesterday got a little bit overrun. We all know why it was. Dom wasn't there, lad.
Yeah,
we missed
that badly.
Curtis was non-existent in that game. Yeah. Unfortunately, the two Scousers yesterday were the worst players on the pitch, lad. Yeah. Honestly, I love Curtis and I love Trent, lad, but we needed Dom's energy at the top of that pitch, and it just wasn't there. So they were able to carry the ball.
Apparently, because he actually served the suspension in the last game.
Yeah, and he just was sick today. Yesterday,
so
it was massive, and I think we noticed it in the midfield area yesterday. It was horrible, lad. Curtis just looked like he couldn't get hold of the ball properly, really.
And he was getting bodied quite a lot by Bruno and Mainu, who again...
Agate, mate. Also, Agate should have had about 3 yellows yesterday, 100%. Lad. It was doing me head in there.
So, again, we'll stick on the positives. Again, in the match reaction, I said no one stood out, but on reflection, Virgil saved Trent so many times. Konate was good as well, was solid. Macher was good, Grav was good. Obviously, Gakpo took his goal really well. Salah gets the pen, but that's shining, piece of turd, really. There's not much else that I can comment on in a positive light.
It's one of them, right? I don't mind playing badly sometimes as long as you get the 3 points, right? And it looked like we were going to get the 3 points. We'd clawed our way back. There's something that you can't fault about this Liverpool team, is the fight back is there always, no matter what. If they go 1 man, 2 down, they still fight back. Brilliant. I love that about my team. It's one of the best in the world.
That'll never change, hopefully.
But the last few games when we've done that, turned it around, Newcastle, Fulham,
True.
Man United, we've drawn that.
It's not good enough. Really, that's 4 now.
It's a mentality thing that you need to be resolute. You need to keep that ball and just slow the game down. Don't play their game. And it seemed like we were trying to go for the third after we'd scored the second. And I get that, because you don't want to invite pressure. The game management just seems to be lacking a little bit when we're going ahead now. That's what I'm looking at it like.
Yeah. Again, we'll stay on the positives. Another one is that Mo Salah now has the exact same amount of Premier League goals as Thierry Henry.
Yeah, and he's definitely going to beat it now.
With that penalty, obviously he's going to beat it quite significantly this season. He's 2 away from Lampard, 9 away from Aguero. It would be nice for him to be in that kind of top 5, 6 as the season finishes, which I'm sure he's got his sights set at. So again, they're positives, right? There's not many to pick out, but they're positives. Now we can start really dissecting what went wrong yesterday, and let us know in the comments if you agree or not.
Gakpo's goal was brilliant as well.
Gakpo's goal was great, right in the top corner.
That's another brilliant goal that he scored, lad. And he's starting to produce there. He had a moment when he missed a big one. Now. I think he was all right yesterday, and Lucho was a little bit.
Lucho was poor.
Bit tired, yeah.
Poor yesterday.
But Gakpo was stepping up, lad. I want to add that because he was brilliant.
100%. And again, I think that's all the positives. So we'll look at the negatives, and I think we have to first of all talk about Trent. Possession lost 27 times, won 0 out of 5 duels.
That's
dribble pass twice. Possession won back was 8, but dribble pass twice.
Just twice
in the game, yeah.
Lad, it seemed like
but
Dallo.
Obviously, they're very costly dribble past actions, aren't they?
I was looking like this, lad. I was like, is that Robin, Ribery? Who's that, lad? It was Dallo. Because honestly, the way he was turning Trent inside out, I couldn't believe it. Like, and it's not, we all know Trent's defensive side of the game is not as strong as his offensive one, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad week in, week out. It's not. Yesterday was just terrible. I don't know if the contract stuff is on his mind or there's other things that are stopping him from having his game, because he's played well so far this season. But that game yesterday was one of the worst performances I've seen him have for Liverpool, and I think he'll hold his hands up and say that himself. You can have an off day, lad. It's fine. But it was just against our biggest rivals.
So my next question is it an off day, or is it the noise that surrounds him? Because I got a couple of quotes here. And again, you know, he really was poor. And I cannot, and again, you love Trent, I love Trent, everyone loves Trent. But I can't defend what I saw last night. And do you know what? I look at someone like Robbo on the other side who, listen, he's got his faults, he gives it away. But he breaks his neck to get back. He breaks his neck to get back, and that's the one thing I can never criticise Robbo for, is that willingness to, if you've made a mistake, it's fine, just go and get the ball back, and then we've all forgot about it. But Trent, I'm sorry, I cannot defend the lack of running. It's just simply not good enough. Sunday League players would have sprinted themselves to get back there, and I think the first goal is Trent's fault. It definitely is Trent's fault. I don't want to get angry, mate, but he's allowing people to come at him. He's not pressing them. He's not closing them down. Give the ball away for the first goal, lad. There's this little amble jog where he's not really checking his mirrors, and eventually, him not closing up Dallo and Martinez leads to Martinez's goal.
He also give the ball away, lad. He very directly gave the ball away for the chance.
Disgusting amount, and I think the Virgil, track back after that Trent misplaced pass, and Virgil just stares him down as if to say, "Bro, wake the F up." And there were rumours, not sure how true they are, that they had to be pulled apart at the end of the game in the dressing room. It seemed like there was a bit of kerfuffle going on in the dressing room. But I wanted to show you this. This comes from James Pearce at The Athletic. There were howls of discontent from the stands as his distribution let him down. And we'll come back to this stat, but another thing to add is the thing that we love Trent for the most is his passing. And his passing yesterday was atrocious. Yeah. He only completed 75% of his passes, 47 out of 63. The lowest accuracy rate out of any Liverpool player who started and lost possession 25 times. Obviously, the one occasion that we remember was the Martinez goal. A slot, though, came out and said, "I think 9 out of 10 people will tell you the speculation affected Trent, but I'm one of those 10 that tells you it didn't. It was just an off day." Then on the other side of the coin, Carragher says, "The fact that Trent was so poor in the first game after Real Madrid put a bid in tells me it must have affected him. I would have loved to have played in a Liverpool team who are the best team in the country. Why would he want to leave? That's disappointing. The fact that Trent was so poor in the first game after the bid tells me it's affected him. Poor defensively. There's nothing going forward on the ball as well." And I think that's the scary thing. When Trent's not even doing the thing that he's the most talented at, then you've got a problem.
Because he's not, well, yeah. That's what happened.
Big
How
problem.
does he adapt his game? It's up to him, right? When he knows, okay, my passes are not coming off right now. How do I adapt my game to make sure I still have a solid performance?
But run back and get the passes.
Yeah, you've got to do that. You just work right. Just get stuck in, lad. Just make sure you're there and reliable.
What is the excuse to not sprint? I
So
don't
right,
understand
I'm gonna play devil's advocate on the side of when Arne Slot come in. He told Trent that he was running too much, right? He was on this red zone where if he keeps staying in this red zone, he's going to get injuries and it's going to keep him out for a long time, etc., etc. And he's been doing that with a lot of players. That's like Diaz and Gakpo have both been getting rotated in and out to look after the minutes that they're playing and the bodies. And I do think that Arne Slot has had a moment with him and said, you need to be careful about when you run and how you run. So positioning is everything when it comes to that, and that's what I feel like Trent sort of lacks, and it's because he's constantly off the top of the pitch. It's not necessarily because he's not strong or fast enough, because he's just constantly looking for that offensive pass. So when that space is vacated, every team is just attacking down the left, and then he's got to bust a neck to get back, which is overexerting himself, when really, if he's in the right position,
in the first
he's going to be
yeah.
okay. And if he's in that position, he can still have a great pass because he's got that variety already. So he doesn't really need to worry about being on the top of the pitch. But I also think there's so many variables, brother. There's so many, right?
Well, has it affected him, this speculation?
I think so, right? In the way that you're talking about Robbo. Robbo wants to stay at Liverpool, lad. He desperately wants to be the left back for Liverpool. So that's why even when he has a mistake, he's running and breaking his neck to get back there. Maybe Trent's mind's elsewhere, so he's not working as hard as he would have.
Pitch, then.
Because
you can't be on the pitch,
his mind's elsewhere. Not because he doesn't care about Liverpool, but I get it. But it's bound to have an effect on his overall well-being, I guess. It will do, lad. He's been at Liverpool for all his life, 20-something years or something mad. He's been getting now offers from the best club in the world to go and play with all these wonderful players in sunny Spain and all that. Of course it's going to affect him. He's got 6 months left, lad. And we've seen it yesterday, in my opinion. It was an off day. We can put it down to an off day if against Tottenham, Accrington Stanley and Nottingham Forest and whoever else afterwards,
all
he has good games.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we've got to hold him accountable there and say, did that affect you? And if it is, how are we going forward? Because when Conor Bradley come on, lads,
different. And do you know what? The tackles that he flies into, I think that's what people, I don't remember Trent like sliding in and winning the ball, coming away with the ball and pinging it. Conor Bradley almost scored at the end, bro, as well. He absolutely twined Bruno, got round it. And can you imagine Trent's reaction if that goal had gone in? I'm not sure, but
I think he would have been happy. He would have been relieved.
Yeah, you'd have to be. But for me, I look at Trent's lack of determination, which, it showed on the pitch. There was a lot of unhappy people with Trent yesterday in the ground. And I think the root of the problem isn't Trent's fault. The root of the problem, if this is an issue and it is affecting him, is the owners for getting us in the position where...
Well, no, apparently he got offered the contract in 2021 and he turned it down because he wanted to see what his options would be when he got to 26. And with Jurgen Klopp leaving in the moment that he has, I also think that's almost put FSG in a horrible position, because it's like now these players don't know what the future is for Liverpool, so they've had to wait until this season to be like, is Arne Slot going to bring us success? Is this team okay to play in still? And it is right now, but I think there's so many different variables that come into play. I don't think you can blame one party, one individual. It's just a load of mess that we're trying to sort out right now, and luckily we are, because we're playing fantastic, but we need to get them contracts immediately signed. And this is another thing. Like, Trent could make this all of our assumptions and assuming
when
that,
is he going to break his silence?
He's not going to. I don't think, lad. I think he's probably going to end up going to Real Madrid. If I'm quite honest with you, that's what my opinion is.
Not in January, but in the summer, in January, for free.
Yeah, in the summer for free, yeah. And I think he won't speak about it until then, to be quite honest with you. Mo Salah's coming out and saying it's his last season for the club. This will definitely have an impact.
That's our fault, though. Yeah. That's Liverpool's fault for allowing these contracts to get into this stage. And it's got to the point now where I'm looking at the situation. I just want it to end. Whatever the outcome is, I just want to know what it is.
It's anxiety,
at this point. Yeah, because it spreads, man. And yeah, listen.
If we're feeling it,
there's been so much to say about Trent, but I don't want to go too hard on it. But
me and you are feeling it, lads, and we're not even anywhere near that football pitch. We just watch it.
But I've jinxed it, apparently.
Yeah, well, if we're feeling it, lads, then I can imagine the players are. They're human.
And it spilled over a bit last night in the change room. I heard that Virgil had a go at Trent and Nunes. And we can speak about Nunes. He came on for 20 minutes, elbowed De Ligt, could have been sent off for that, and is now suspended for the next game as well.
Because of it?
Against
because of the yellow that he got for it?
So that's 5 yellows now. Like, that's idiotic. I'm sorry, Doyle.
I don't know what he's doing.
That's
Right? He's
just
trying to
dumb.
stick one on a Man United
But
player.
we were 2-1 up at the
I get
time,
it.
Doyle.
He's
You
trying to
don't need to do that.
I get it. But he's trying to just... He's trying
Try
to
and win the header.
Yeah, I get you. I do. I see both sides of it. In his mind, he's like, I'm going to clatter this kid because he's a Man United player and I'm in Liverpool and this is Anfield and I'm going to get the crowd
But
up.
do it in a bit of a clever way where you might get away with it.
Yeah, he didn't.
But that's
He just,
dark arts.
He did just run
What
into
you've
him.
done is not dark at all.
He's not clever enough to do that, lad.
He's gone, there he is. The ball's coming. He's not looking at the ball. He's gone.
No, he looked at the ball and I went, I'm not getting
It was
that.
deliberate,
And then
mate.
looked at him and went, you're getting it though.
Yeah. And on another day, I'm not being funny, it's more of a shoulder than an elbow.
Yeah, it wasn't an elbow.
But-
He ran into his chest. He literally just bodied him into his chest.
It was
lad.
like this area.
Yeah.
It was the chest and the face. Like
I don't think it's a red card though.
yeah, a lot of people saying it was a red. But for me, listen, you know me, right? I'll always stick my neck out for Darwin. I'll always offer him an olive branch when the critics are on his back. But it's getting to the undefendable point with him. And is there a question now? Right, we'll move on from Núñez because, he's not even going to play in the next game. So he'll probably play against Spurs, but not against Brentford. But someone tweeted me last night, and I didn't even want to bring it up, but I'm going to ask you the question anyway. Can the uncertainty around these contracts derail Liverpool's charge for every competition in this season?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're human beings. And they've got to,
Like, could we lose the league because we haven't got these contracts?
this just
sewed
isn't
up?
about football. This is about their personal futures, where they're going to live, where their families are going to be. That could be in 7 months' time. They could be in a new country, a new city in literally 9 months, 8 months' time. That's not a very long time. Without a shadow of a doubt, this will be affecting the players. And that's why I think it's up to FSG really now to overwhelmingly get them to sign contracts in January. Virgil and Salah need to come out by the end of January and say, we've signed our contracts, everything's good, let's get on and work this and get this league. Trent can do what he wants, lad. Let Trent do whatever he wants, yeah, because we've still got other players that can cover him. Got Conor Bradley there if he has another blip or a bad performance. But we need to get them contracts sorted because we're seeing yesterday, lad, something's going on. I don't think it's affecting Salah as of yet,
No.
or Virgil, to
Or
be quite
both.
honest with you. But I think it's affecting the fans. And when it starts to affect the fans, it will infiltrate the team because it's just natural. The same way that when we're up for it and we're excited, like Jurgen Klopp got us to be when we very first joined the club, what happened? The energy changed in the team. So we need to make sure that the fans are happy with what's going on with the club so that the club can play its football and be supported by the fans in the right way that it should be. Because it's been phenomenal all season, by the way. We are so lucky to be in the position that we are right now. We're moaning about not being 8 points ahead. We're currently 6 points ahead with a game in hand. That's ridiculous.
You would have
after 19
absolutely
games.
snapped your arm off if someone offered
I think
you
the
that.
lads know that this is a huge opportunity to win this league. It all of a sudden makes careers look better. Mo Salah, Trent, Virgil, Robbo. They now, if they win this year, have 2 Premier Leagues. Lad, that makes the stats look so much better in my opinion. Going from 1 Premier League to 2 almost makes it 10 more. Does that make sense when I say that?
100%.
It really does have a massive
I get you.
effect in my opinion. So they'll be desperate to win this. Just
Let
like
me
we are.
give you, because again, context is key, right? We're very down and depressed because we didn't beat United. They're 15th.
we just wanna
we're
beat them,
top,
lad.
And I
Even
wanted
if
to
we're
smash
17th.
them. I wanted to smash them, right? But let me give you some context, right? Liverpool's first 19 games into the Premier League this season compared to other seasons. We're now halfway through. In 18-19, we were on 51 points at this stage. Bear in mind, we lost the league that year by a point. In 19-20, we were 55 points on the table at this stage. 2021, 34 points. Remember that huge drop-off? 21-22, picked it up a little bit, 41 points. But this was the killer. 22-23, at this stage, we had 29 points, brother.
Wow.
That's only a couple more than what United have got now.
We were finished.
Last season, right, obviously, we were well in the title race at this stage at 42 points. And this season, it's 46 points. So let's put it this way.
with a game in hand.
With the game in hand. But,
So really, it could be 40
but that
now.
game in hand is the derby. Let's give that some context. So in the last 7 seasons, this is the 3rd best place that we've been in the first 19 matches of the Premier League.
But
So
one massive variable, huge one. Man City are below us by 11 to 14 points. Something crazy like that. They are no longer the team that we've been competing against in them other seasons. So we have a huge opportunity. Everybody
Biggest
right
ever.
now, Honestly, I can't tell you. No wonder City won all the leagues when Liverpool and Arsenal keep drawing like this all the time, just giving points away when they feel like it. No wonder they won. That's why they kept winning. But this is a huge opportunity while they're down and everyone else is pouring form to win this bloody league, lad.
Yeah.
If we don't win this now, we'll go down as proper as bottlers, lad. That's what will happen.
100, and I'll be the first to say it. Everyone will say, "Have you bottled it?" Yeah, we have.
Yeah,
we have. But obviously, we're touching wood. That's not going to happen. Arsenal dropped points, Chelsea dropped points, but Liverpool did as well. And I think another key context thing to take away is the fact that on Friday we're in the exact same position that we are in now, which is still at the top, 6 points gap, but we're closer to the end of the season than we were on Friday. So, you know, on to the next one, I guess. You know,
that's all you can do, lad.
You've got to turn it around, and you've got to... The character will be tested, though, now. And that's the title of this show. I think I wanted to make that clear. In the next 2 weeks, the character of this team, the bottle, the grit, the determination, the experience, everything is going to be brought into question. We play 3 away games in a row now. And again, Tottenham, even though they're in an awful run of form, it's a cup game. You never know what can happen. We're going to rest some players or change it up a little bit. So that's massive. The character is definitely going to be tested at Forest away. I mean, that
was the game I was like, we can drop points there if we need to. We can get a draw there. And that's why I was like, we need to beat Fulham, Newcastle and Man United, because we can beat them. The Newcastle one was a bit difficult, but we're nearly there again, lad. I'm so frustrated with this.
Last 2 minutes, we threw away the Newcastle one. We had 10 men against Fulham. Could have won it again, you know, with chances. We could have won it last night. Van Dijk's header right at the end. Jota has a chance where he gets inside.
For us to get over the line, lad, the club needs to have a feel-good energy, and we had that in the first part of the season because we've got a new manager. It's all tentative, but we're playing good football, and we're like, wow, this is good, this. Everyone's starting to get along, and we're picking up wins, and everyone's energy feels great, the morale is high. But going into the second part of the season, contracts are running out, you know, it's crunch time now. Are you really going to win these leagues and these cups? Because you've got to win these last few games to do that. This energy needs to remain positive, and the only people that can really do that is the fans. Just scream and shout, be as loud as possible when you're away, when you're at home. That's the only thing you can do, lad. Like what we're doing now is just trying to push the boys. We have talked about what's the negatives, but that's because we need to vent, right? Everyone needs to vent about the different parts of the game, but we need to keep a positive feel in the club.
That's it. We
absolutely have to.
Yeah, we don't want to exert this kind of energy. It's happened. Dust yourselves down, pick yourselves back up. Whatever happened in the change room yesterday could be a good thing. That could be the moment where we go, do you remember when we had that little Barney? Now it's time to jump on and make it a successful one again. I wanted to shout out Steve from the Red Men, who says the Reds are halfway through the season, have 46 points from 19 league games. They're in a cup semi-final and have won every Champions League game so far. Yesterday was pretty bad, but yeah, Arnie's first 6 months or so couldn't have gone much better. And this one from Henry Winter. Liverpool still in control of the title race. Good players, good manager, good strength and depth. But they need to silence the growing noise around the 3 contract situations, which should never have been allowed to rumble on so long. If Virgil is close to signing, get it done. Get him what he wants. Get it announced. Get the focus back on the football. Mo Salah, if possible, get that signed, sealed and celebrated too. It would be uplifting news for the staff, the players and the supporters, a timely tonic. It would have been financially beneficial to FSG to have great players staying on, taking Liverpool towards money-spinning trophies and even more commercial opportunities, gold from silverware. Van Dijk and Salah playing well despite the headlines, but against United, Trent looked affected by the noises. Very good player, but clarity about his future, staying or going, would help all parties. And then everyone can focus fully on what matters most, bringing home a 20th title and equaling United's record.
That's all that matters. We want the players to stay, but we absolutely need to get over the line and win this bloody league this year because it's a huge opportunity, the biggest in the last 5 years. We have to win. We must, lad. Since we won the league, this is the biggest opportunity to win it again. I agree with everything that he's just said there. Get them signed, that's what I just said. Get them signed, sealed,
the lift
sorted.
It would give us, mate. And do you know what? I would have a real issue with FSG. I almost wouldn't forgive them if we didn't win this title. Because it has rumbled on for so long, it isn't right that we've let it get to this stage. And
it's
whatever happens from here, whatever happens, whether some of them leave, some of them stay, I want that title in the bag, and to get it, give us that big lift of the contracts done, signed, sealed, and delivered. We've offered Trent. If you now reject this, he's obviously been holding out for the 300k a week, which we've now offered him. If Trent rejects this now,
then that's it. That's it. Because
I'm not having it anymore.
Huge.
There's no right back ever that's been paid that money.
300k. That's mad. Mo Salah to have.
If I'm honest, he doesn't deserve it after that performance last night.
He deserves to have. He deserves to be the best paid right back in the world, because he is. But Mo Salah had to have 4 or 5 seasons of scoring 30 plus goals
just to get to this stage.
Like, you need to understand, like, this is huge now. So I agree with you. If he says no to this, that's it. There's nothing more that you can offer.
Get out.
Yeah, you can't do anything, lad. So it's one of them. I think
now, do you know what? The one thing I do respect about this is we've gone, and again, I don't like the timing of it because it's come out maybe a day or two before a massive game against United. But the fact that we've gone, you want 300k? No excuses now. There's the offer. And if you're not going to sign this now, get out.
Yeah.
And my last question before we talk about the Spurs game is, if Trent is compromised, and again, we're going to find out what happens with the contract, but if he is thinking elsewhere and his mind's not right, do you play him? If he's compromised, do you play him?
You take him off, lad, and you play Connor Bradley. That's it. If your man's not on the pitch and it's somewhere else, then you be somewhere else. That's it. I don't think I want Trent to be off the pitch at all. I want him to play the performances that he's done all season and be the best right back in the world, deliver some wonderful assists. But if you can't do that, then for the better of the team,
you have
get
to
somebody
get
that
off
can.
the pitch.
And I think you'll agree, right? Like, I'm not saying anything that's outlandish, yeah. Like, definitely, if this is affecting you, that's okay, lad. It's huge. It's a massive life decision that you're trying to make here. It's understandable that it's going to affect you. It is, and that's fine. But if it is, let's get Connor on, so that we can win this league. Because I know you want us to win the league as well. We all want to win this league. So what's for the better of the team? You make your decision about it. Really.
Perfect. And Roy Hodgson, Roy Keane last night said he's thinking of going to Madrid. If he's defending like that, he'll be playing for Tranmere Rovers.
That's because he's watching Dallo, who he thinks is crap, running up and down the wing, smoking Trent. And he said, "Hey, what's going on here, mate?" Because he smoked him, lad. And just one more thing about the FSG thing, right? It's not just about this season. Keeping Virgil and Salah over the next 2 years is super important to our transition. You have experienced players to bleed in the younger ones. That's what they're there for. You can't just throw a young gun into a right wing position after Mo Salah. That is almost suicidal doing stuff like that, lad.
Yeah.
Just get the bloody contract signed, them two in particular. Signed, sealed, sorted as soon as possible. Not even the end of January, like now.
Do you think Trent accepts this deal or rejects it?
I think that's one of the reasons why Salah's and Virgil's hasn't stopped yet, because they're trying to work out if they're going to pay, how they're going to pay them too, with Trent's being 300k. I genuinely do.
Salah's on 350 already, so maybe that goes up to 400 for a 2-year deal.
That's fine. You've earned it.
Yeah,
he has,
100%. If there's one player I could pick out that has earned it, bloody hell, it's
even
Mo
if he
Salah.
plays crap for the year after or something, like
exactly,
it's like you've done so much for the club, and if you win this league, you've earned it, lads. You've earned them years.
Do you know what I'd be saying to Mo? I'd be saying, look, man, let's win the league this year, win it next year, then you've more than done your fair share and then we're above United. Then
we're gonna get you an understudy. Teach this understudy. I want him to learn everything he can from you.
And then, if Trent rejects this deal, I don't want him at the football club.
No, like, if he rejects the deal, he doesn't want to be at the football club.
Which means that we don't want him there either.
Yeah, of course.
Tottenham away Wednesday night, first leg of the semi-final. We're going to have a preview with Abby coming out on the channel later, but just to finish off the pod, looking ahead, changes, do you make any? Do you still go strong?
Dom, come back immediately. We need you in that top number 10 position, playing that false 10, being an 8, running up and down. Please come back. We're desperate for that.
Yeah.
Jota, get him on the pitch, lad. Diaz looks a bit leggy now. He's tired. Nunes, use him on the cup games, whatever.
I think Nunes, because he's now suspended for Forest, even though he scored the winner there last year, I think he has some involvement. I mean, it's a bit of a dead end with him at the minute. I'm not really sure where we go from here.
This is going to sound really bad.
He's got more yellow cards this season than goals and assists in the Prem. Go on.
This is going to sound really bad.
Go on.
Sorry. Sell him. Keep the money. Give it to Trent, Salah and Virgil. Isn't that bad? Isn't that so bad?
How much would we get? I think Milana maybe 40, snooping around. You've got to be at least 40 or 50 with his age there, but In this Spurs game, would you play Kelleher?
No, I need Ali to start saving shots, lad. And the only way he can start saving shots is by being on the pitch and being match fit. You're the
Because at
goalkeeper,
the
lad.
minute, every shot that he faces goes in.
I mean,
Could he have saved both goals
when he
yesterday?
played against Newcastle, he had a good game, right? He was saving all kinds of shots against them.
Kelleher was in goal for that game.
Was he?
Yeah, because he was the one that let the ball go over his
Oh
head.
yeah, sorry.
And Shah scored that
game
goal.
that he come back for that, and he
Was
was
it
good,
Fulham?
and he was saving all kinds of shots, lad. To be fair to him.
Maybe, yeah.
But yesterday they just took their chances, lad. They were just
But
very.
could he have
clinical.
saved definitely
second
the
one?
Diallo?
He could have, yeah.
Ahmad
But then
Diallo one.
Virgil could have been in front of it, and Trent could have stopped the cross, and
Yeah.
everyone. You know what I mean? It's not.
It just looked like it went in the middle of
Too
the goal,
easy, yeah,
like not even
too
in the
easy, lad,
corner.
I agree.
Could have got there.
I need him on the pitch to
So
get
you
some
want him
saves
to stay in goal?
Atkinson Stanley put Keller there.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. So you go pretty full strength, because don't forget, if you do go full strength in this game, I mean Chiesa, where is that geezer? He needs to.
Yeah, it's 10 mil.
We need to play him on Wednesday at some
10
point.
mil for an under-21s player.
But my thing is, like, if you play the full strength team in this game, then obviously you can afford to rest players for the
Atkinson Stanley.
Accrington game.
That's it.
But because the Forest game is on Tuesday, if you're playing a full strength team on the Wednesday, it's not even a full week's
It's 6
rest.
It's 6 days, and usually if we're playing Champions League, we play this strong team Wednesday, Sunday, Saturday, whatever
Yeah.
it may be. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh, it's a big week, man. The character is really
They're
going to
all-
be
this is-
tested.
this-
In
the
the
last
next 2
half-
weeks, by the time my birthday comes around, bro, we're going to have a really good idea of what we're going
we've
to
said
achieve
this
this
loads,
season.
though. We've said this loads.
I
At
know,
this
but
point, we'll see. At
these
this point,
games,
we'll see.
bro.
We got to take it. I do get game by game, and there is blocks in the season that you look at. If we get through this, then it gives us a great opportunity, and I understand that. But I'm not celebrating or projecting or trying to see a trajectory until the last day of the season, lad. Like, genuinely, like, I cannot tell you what's going to happen with this title run. I can't, because of the contract situation. If we capitulate, lad, I am going to be devastated, and so will every Liverpool fan. But I don't believe that we will. I genuinely believe
There's
we're
more
the
to
best
come.
team in this league.
Yeah,
I
we still
believe
are.
we are.
No, we still are.
And because of that, I know it sounds stupid and Michael Owney, like, City have always beat us because they've been better, yeah. But there is no team right now currently on form the way Liverpool are playing. Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City.
Arsenal drawn
They're
7
good
now, I
teams.
think.
Good teams, but they're dropping loads of points themselves. Everybody's a bit crap this season, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you.
Yeah.
Liverpool, at the very best, could have 50-something points right now, but we haven't, because we've been a little bit crap in certain areas. So I'm worried simply because of the last month, not because of the season that we've had. So that's what I'm trying to do. This could be a blip. This could be a month where we've had a bit of a blip, and we're going to carry on again and play well.
We
I'm
always
worried
play
because of
shit in
contracts.
January, though. Have you noticed?
Yeah, January's
Under
like that.
Klopp, we were always pants in January.
Because we've just had a massive run of games in December that zaps your energy, lad. And then you've got to
Yeah.
go again after a festive period where you're sort of celebrating. There is a mentality thing, I think, when you go in top at Christmas. It's almost like you're like, I can rest now.
Yeah.
But you can't.
No, not
Because you've
at
got a
all.
whole half a season to go. So you've got no rest whatsoever, lad.
And
Get on
don't
the pitch.
forget that derby's coming up in the next month, I assume, as well.
Awful. Nottingham Forest away, the derby. We've got to play City away. We've got to play Arsenal away at home. We've got to play
Chelsea away.
Chelsea away. These are the league's not over.
Villa away
Like,
as well. I think.
it's not over, lad. This is hard work. Brighton away.
Yeah, it's not great, is it, brother? It's
Lad.
not great. But
There's a long way to go, mate.
but there is a long way to go, as we said. And I look at the mentality monsters in our team to really pull us through this next month, and hopefully that just spreads. And we go on and pick up that League Cup. I'd love to win that. That's a great momentum shifter.
Yeah.
And then you go into the Prem, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. See what we can do. But listen, I think the energy is down. We've had time to reflect on the game, but looking ahead, the context still shows us in an incredible part of the season. I think we're unbeaten in 24 games. So there's a lot to cheer about, but I just think because it was them and because we allowed them to play their game, frustrate us, it's a gutter feeling.
Man, it is that, but it's also the month. It's the month that we've had that I'm worried about. So hopefully we can turn it around. We need to shift the energy from focusing on individuals and back to the team. Don't want Trent celebrating like this. I don't want people talking about contracts and interviews. The only thing I want them talking about is I want to win this league this year, and that's it. Focus needs to be shifted right back on the team, lad.
And if
It's
you are going to
everywhere
do
it shouldn't
this,
be.
or accept or reject the offer, break your silence and just tell us what you're going to do, because we can't afford to have these conversations on a Monday every week where we're going, is the contract gonna affect the title run? I just do not want to hear it anymore, bro.
It's about being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do.
If that's what you want, okay, let us know. We can all kind of prepare and move on. But the longer that he says, I don't like it played out in public, you might have to play this one out in public, brother. And it might have to just be said and sorted
for the betterment of the team.
Stop thinking of you and think of the team now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there. Quickly though, score prediction for Wednesday and Saturday, please.
That Spurs is grand, innit?
Yeah. First leg.
Honestly, you can't tell with these guys, lad.
They
could beat us 3-1, or we could win 7-0.
Yep.
I'll say 3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Just to let you know as well, we are doing a watch long for the Spurs game on Wednesday.
Yeah, we are,
for the second time in a month at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So looking forward to that. So please join us on Wednesday night. We are, again, going to give it our all energy-wise. We're going to throw everything at that game to make sure that we've got one foot in the final. So looking forward to that on Wednesday. As I said, preview with Abby out later today. And then at the weekend, it's Accrington Stanley. And then obviously we go to Forest next Tuesday. Tuesday is mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
To play on a Saturday and then a Tuesday. That is scatty.
Forest game, honestly,
I'm just hating the thought of that game because, they obviously did beat us and there's extra on it because it was Arne Slot's first. It's the only game Arne Slot lost in 2024 for a Feyenoord or Liverpool. So anyway, massive. We'll talk about that more next Monday when it's nearer the time. But people, do us a favour. I hope you've really enjoyed this. I hope it's been a bit of a venting, like a calm and composed venting session, but with a couple of positives and context thrown in there as well. That was Hot Kopics episode 147. Speaking of 147, the darts were at the weekend. Luke Littler won.
He did, yeah.
Obviously a United fan, so I wasn't happy about that. Smash that like button. Get your comments in, people. Big podcast this one, so help us make it that. And then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Doyle's going to be back on Wednesday for the Spurs game. Sorry, as I just have a little stretch because I was in a Tesla for 5 hours last night. And big up to you. Smash that week ahead of you, people. Don't let this affect you too much. Right, we'll be back on top next week, hopefully. Well, we still are.
Anyway, and if any of your mates get and they support all these crap teams that are below us, tell them.
Just show them the table.
Yeah,
I would.
6 points.
6 points clear with a game in
hand.
hand. But that game in hand is the derby. That's why whenever someone says game in hand, I am going to say that after it. But yeah, take care, people. We'll be back next week. All the best.